Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Temple Kolami in West Bloomfield, Michigan. I'm Rabbi Brent Gutmann, leading here tonight with Cantorial Soloist Christensen, and oh my gosh, can I tell you how good it feels to be here with you in this sanctuary in person, and everyone who's joined us online. I've missed being here so much with you these last couple of weeks. And it's been a time. It's been a time. It's been quite a time. I was diagnosed with COVID 2 weeks ago on Friday. Came up with a positive test, and thank God I was vaccinated and followed my religious obligation to get vaccinated. And anyone who is scared to get vaccinated, I just want to send my heart and my love to you to say you're strong and you can do it. And I credit my vaccine for mild symptoms, thank God, and I just pray that anyone out there that's sick in this pandemic that is inescapable for us in our world, that they find healing and comfort and wholeness and wellness and peace. And peace is something that we need so much of in our world. And regardless of how much trouble fills our week and how much happens in the course of a week, we always have Shabbat to look forward to be able to come here and to be with our friends, to be together safely as a community, both in person and online, and staying connected so that we can open our hearts to each other in love, and then truly sit together and declare, Hine ma tov, how good, how sweet, how wonderful it is. Page 10 in our prayer books. Hine ma tov, u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov, u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov, u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Good and sweet to look forward to Shabbat, to be with our friends, and we welcome Donna Weingarten to help us with welcoming light into our Sabbath. We continue with the kindling of the Ner Shabbat. Page 2, we rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. We continue Yidid Nefesh Avarachaman. You may be seated. Page 10 again.
Yidid Nefesh Avarachaman,
Each Shabbat we have this image of angels that come to visit us, angels like old friends that we look forward to greeting and appreciating and engaging in that delight of Shabbat with. And we're taught that when we celebrate Shabbat in the right spirit, that the angels come and they bless Shabbat, and the other angel has forced to say amen. But if we miss the mark, if we err, if we do not have the right spirit and intention as we enter Shabbat, then the other angel will say a curse, and the first angel is forced to respond amen to it. And so each week as we come back, we bring those best angels of our hearts. We welcome them. We bring them into our presence as we're lifted higher on this sacred day. We continue welcoming those angels, welcoming the Sabbath bride. Lecha Dodi, page 20.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, yishmi'anu el cham yochad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki makor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela.
Torari.
Hitoreri, kiva orei, kumi ori, uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai v'yiflikla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela.
We rise and face the door to welcome those angels.
בואי ושלום עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekavela.
You may be seated. We continue on page 27. Lamdeni Elohai barech v'hit palel al sof alei kamel. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my way. Welcome you to join me in the prayer for evening, the middle of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. There's moments in our life when we feel so small, so challenged, so pressed, maybe squeezed. We feel ourselves in katnut, like the world is crashing down around us, and we can do nothing but attempt to resist. And yet there are moments as well when we can feel that great love filling the world, giving us hope, giving us strength, giving us a sense of value, of grace in ourselves. A moment when we know we've been guided by our best instincts, by our hearts and our hopes to do good. A moment that we know for our intentions there is a blessing to come down the road. A moment when we hearken back to the special connection forged with Abraham, our forefather. And in those moments when we feel that love, when we feel that relief, when we go from katnut to gadlut, that we can call out in love, "Blessed are you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael."
Shem Kivon Malchuto Le'olam Ba'ed. Page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levadecha v'dibarta b'ham B'shivtecha b'beitecha, uv'lechtecha b'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, uv'shartam le'ot al yedecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'hisharecha. Le'ma'an tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim le'lohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
I welcome you to join me in our prayer for redemption, page 38 together. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonder without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You perform miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, the song of Shabbat.
We sing Vishamru for that Shabbat piece on page 36.
44.
Page 44. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam
I'm going to need my water for this one, I think. Where to begin? You know, there's a whole practice of quarantine in Torah, and when one is ill with the disease, we talk about Metzora a lot. They are required to go and live outside of the community for a period of time. And what we don't talk about as much is when they come back to the community, there's actually a ritual for them to engage in. They're supposed to come bearing an offering. They're supposed to come with a gift as they return, specifically a chatat offering, an offering of sin, an expression of error, a confession of wanting to say sorry for ways in which their presence put the community in danger. These are different times. These are simply different times. And to know in our hearts that although we live on the edge of some fear and some danger, that together with our community, we can find strength and wholeness and heart. So I thought it'd be fun as I come back here from a couple of weeks of being away to start with my own sin offering, a little bit of a confession. Here's my confession. Last night, I stayed up way past my bedtime. Have you ever done that before? I stayed up way past my bedtime, binge watching this show. I don't know if anyone here has heard about it. It's on Netflix. It's called Squid Game. Yeah. I really don't have much time for TV in my life, but when I learned that this show happened to be the most streamed show in history, I decided that I had to see it. I watched the first 3 episodes actually a couple nights ago with Jill, and then I must confess, I watched, well, I didn't quite finish. I fell asleep. I had to go back and see what happens. This happens sometimes when we do this to ourselves. You know, it's really not a habit of me to binge regularly, but yes, even rabbis occasionally binge watch TV. And I want to take a moment, though, to talk about Squid Game because it's interesting. It's gory, fair warning, and if blood and death bother you, it's not for you. On the other hand, if you're one of those people that gets excited about this season in October, then it might be the perfect thing for you right now. And as everyone seems to be talking about it in some sense, I figured I might as well too. So I'm going to talk about it tonight. I make an oath to you, though, I will not give mention of any spoilers beyond the end of the first episode, okay? So we won't go beyond the first episode. I'm sorry if you haven't watched the first episode yet. There's going to be some spoilers. Squid Game is a show that is about 456 desperate people in South Korea who consent to compete for a prize of approximately $38 million on a secret island. Before beginning the game, they have to sign a player agreement. There's legalese in the game. The first clause of the player agreement says that a player is not allowed to stop playing. The second clause says that a player who refuses to play is eliminated, and anyone who's eliminated is killed. The third clause says that the games may be terminated if the majority agrees. And so, in Squid Games, well, the players are forced to work together. There are 6 games in the competition, 6 rounds, and the players must be cunning or get help lest they die. The rules of the competition are enforced by an organization of taciturn men wearing masks that completely conceal their identity, except that their rank is revealed in a geometric shape on their face, like a triangle or a circle or a square. The masked men maintain the game must be fair. They are forbidden from advantaging one player over another, and they are forbidden from taking off their masks and revealing their true identities. Metaphorically, in a way, the players' identities are also concealed. and that they are simply assigned numbers, 1 through 456, to identify them. And a theme emerges in Squid Game that even those players who wish to work together never will know if someone is actually trustworthy until they have put their life in the hands of that person. Tractate Bava Kama of the Mishnah discusses how to distinguish between animals which are tam, meaning docile or presumed harmless or without blemish, and those which are be'mu'ad, which have been attested to be a danger. And right in the middle of these lengthy discussions and opinions comes a remarkable statement. Human beings are always an attested danger, whether the damage is caused inadvertently or deliberately, whether the person who caused the damage is awake or asleep. This is the lesson of Squid Game, because everyone is masked, even those who don't wear physical masks. And you won't know whether or not you can trust anyone right until the second that they are willing to risk their life for yours. Just as in Squid Game, this week Abraham, who at this point is called Abram, literally great father, signs God's version of a player consent form to Torah with his own blood as he circumcised more than his heart to serve God who called him. Lech lecha, go forth. God speaks to Abram, but is not revealed. God wears a mask. God demands that Abram follows him while concealing the game, the test that Abram must face, and even the place where God is bringing him. And God also dangles the reward for following the rules, the commandments, and winning the competition, that Abraham's descendants shall be as numerous as the stars in the sky, the grains of sand on the lip of the sea, and that those who bless him will be blessed, and those who curse him will be cursed as long as he lives. Abram hears this and he decides to consent. He obeys on faith and leaves his land, the place of his birth, his father's house, with his household, and with his nephew, Lot. Abram follows God to the place that God will show him. He attempts to live his life in accordance with God's commandments, and he tries to conquer his own evil inclination. Abram settles in Hebron, and Lot settles in Sodom. Not long afterward, war breaks out, a war called the War of the Nine Kings. In Genesis chapter 14, this is what happens. 5 local kings form an alliance and rebel after 12 years of subjugation to King Kedorlaomer of Elam. Kedorlaomer seeks retribution. He forms his own alliance of 4 stronger kings. And the five kings, they beseech Abram to join their team, but he refuses. Abram wants to stay neutral. But 2 years on, Kedorlaomer captures Sodom and Gomorrah, and Abram's nephew, Lot, is taken prisoner. Now, desperate to save Lot, Abram readies his whole household for war, and he joins the 5 kings. The moment he joins the competition, the tides turn, and the 4 kings led by Kedorlaomer are defeated. Lot is freed. Abram returns home a hero. And as he passes the city of Shalem, the city of peace, which years later would become Yerushalayim, the city where peace is cast, a mysterious man emerges. a man who only appears once in the whole of Torah, called Melchizedek, the king of Shalem, also known as Salem, by the way. He comes forward. He brings Abram bread and wine and is the first person to be identified in Torah as a priest. Similarly, Melchizedek identifies himself as a priest of God Most High, El Elyon, and he says, "Blessed be Abram of God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your foes into your hands. Those that bless you will be blessed. Those who curse you will be cursed." But who is Melchizedek? How does he come to refer to God as El Elyon, a name of God that we call it every time that we recite the Amidah, a prayer that we'll be reciting momentarily? He uses bread and wine, sacraments that we use to consecrate every sacred day. Who is Melchizedek, whose name translates as the righteous king? And how did he develop a faith similar to Abram? Where did he come from? Why does he only appear here in Torah? What prompts him to appear now? Friends, these are unanswerable questions. Like the characters in the show Squid Game, Torah masks Melchizedek's true identity. Oh, the rabbis have a theory. The Targum, the Aramaic translation of the Torah, teaches that the person behind Melchizedek's mask is actually none other than Shem, Noah's oldest son, and Abram's own grandfather. And another commentary, Bereshit Rabbah, identifies Shem as the keeper of Adam's knowledge of God from the very time of creation in the Garden of Eden, and that Shem founded an academy to teach and devote oneself to God. And Bereshit Rabbah's description is audacious. It describes Shem as so perfectly and so spiritually advanced that he was born circumcised. I can't make this stuff up. And of all the ways we might find the rabbi's opinion unbelievable, we have no way of proving or disproving their theory. Melchizedek is eternally masked, and Abram makes the decision to accept Melchizedek's blessing on faith. Remember, human beings are always an attested danger. We are all bemu'ad. Today we all know what it's like to wear masks, not only metaphorically, but literally. We know what it's like to be distrusted by others. We know what it's like to be treated as an attested danger. And we know that it can be hard to assure others' faith in us, that our intent is to give blessings and not curses. We know what it is like. Some of us know how easily our trust in others can be broken. 2 weeks ago, I shared that I inadvertently exposed a significant number of you to COVID. I exposed my unvaccinated children. I infected my wife, and I felt terrible about it. I felt terrible that I brought disease into our midst, and I'm grateful at the same time that God kept you safe. Maybe that was my blessing for wearing a mask more than most and social distancing more than most. But regardless, I, like every one of us, am in attested danger, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And friends, this is a legitimate reason for fear. In that moment when I was infectious, you trusted me, because if we don't trust each other, we die. If we allow ourselves to be afraid of each other, we limit our ability to be a community. We limit our ability to give each other blessings. And many of us know what it's like to harden our hearts and cut off each other, our source of blessing. Some of us have ended relationships recently based off another's refusal to wear a mask. This fear is an understandable fear. But if we give into this fear too much, if we take the leap of faith to trust another whose trust we know can never be guaranteed, then those who bless us will be blessed. But only if we give them the opportunity to give us their blessings by putting our trust and faith in them. And every one of us is going to experience at some point in our lives having our trust broken. Those who curse you will be cursed. But if we react through letting go, our hearts will grow callous. If we never trust again, if we never love again, if we never give another blessing, then we cut ourselves off not only from the source of blessing, but from the possibility of true and sacred relationships. Deuteronomy reads, "And now, Israel, what does the eternal your God require of you but to fear the eternal your God, to walk in his ways, to love God, to serve the eternal your God with all your heart, with all your soul. Circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your heart." And if we are willing to trust again, if we are willing to place our trust in each other who we do not know have the power to hurt us, God offers another promise in the words of Ezekiel. "The nations shall know that I am the Eternal, declares Hashem Elohim. When I manifest my holiness before their eyes through you, I will bring you back to your land. I will sprinkle pure water upon you, and you shall be pure. I will cleanse you from all your impurities and all the false idols, and I will give you a new heart and a new spirit. I will remove the heart of stone from your body and give you a heart of flesh. I will put my spirit into you." My message is not that we should always trust all others. Rather, we must trust others sometimes, even when we know there's no guarantee that it will be safe. We are all always being tested, and without trust, we are destined to fail. We all wear masks, but when we trust, God helps us to be seen and helps us to see others. We place our trust in this community. We have to, because the cost of never trusting is too great. Rule number 1, we are not allowed to stop playing. We have no choice but to pray. Even when blessing seems distant, we have no choice but to pray. "God opens up my lips." We have no choice but to trust God as Abraham trusted God. We have no choice but to work as a team. Rule number 2, if we refuse to play, we will be eliminated. Not only does a team approach usually work better than going it alone, we can only give and receive blessings when we join each other's team. Rule number 3, if the majority agrees, we can stop playing. We can let our skepticism rest, never in knowing that our future is assured, but in our faith that as we trust and give blessings, then we connect ourselves to the source of all that is eternal and worthy of blessing in our world. And so in that spirit, we prepare to recite the Amidah to the God of our ancestors, to El Elyon, as we join our hearts together as one community in the one who gave lasting and eternal blessing to Abraham. We will begin the prayer together and complete it individually as usual. And once you have completed your prayer, whenever you are ready, you may be seated and continue with quiet meditation. Please rise for the Amidah prayer, page 46 in our books.
Adonai sifatai tiftal ufi agitehi latecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Gola Libnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
This time of challenge and illness and trouble and hurt and shortage, we know how many individuals in our world are in need of support and help and love and care. And so in this moment, we prepare to offer them a blessing, opening our hearts to feeling, hearing, experiencing all around us all of those people who are being thought of for healing. We share their names in our chat boxes, in our hearts, in our room. And if you'd like to share a name, we open ourselves up to seeing, hearing, feeling the presence of those people in this room, knowing that based off of how many are spoken about and thought of by us alone, how much therefore there are throughout our world who are in need of healing. May our prayer so bring them healing. If you'd like to share a name, you may do so now. Deb Ford.
Daniel Ward and Sandra Wilcox.
For Daniel and Sandra. For Ruth. For Emily. For Joanne.
For David and Rader and Roger Ford.
For David, Roger, for Ellen and Lauren. For all those who are being thought of online, we're with you too. We're here. We know you're there and we see your smiling faces. As we offer this prayer for healing, the Misha Baruch, page 253.
For our closing prayers with Aleinu on page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gdula l'seh b'reishit, shelo asan k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
You may be seated as our thoughts turn to all of those blessed and holy and sacred souls who brought us so much light and brought us so much blessing through their lives as they shared time with us. We think of them now, former members of our congregation, friends, family of members of our congregation, as well as all those who've been a blessing to humanity of every color, of every race, of every nation, of every place. We think of them now, they are our eternal blessing. We as a congregation are still in a period of Shloshim, following the recent deaths of our member Florence Vinsky as well as a mother of Stuart Vinsky and Sandra D. Bernstein, the grandmother of Gail and Paul Shotkin. We express our condolences, our blessings to them, that their loved ones shall forever be a blessing in their lives. We remember as well the following individuals whose yard sites occur this calendar week. They are Martin Abramowitz, Sarah Bregman, Matthew Deitch, Lawrence Einhorn, Edward Earl Eubanks, Lily L. Goldfarb, Arthur Holmes, Arlene Immerman, Edward Mel Lewis, Celia Margolis, Brian Menser, Evelyn Miller, Samuel Miller, Jeanette Pernick, Edward Roth, Lee Saunders, Jeffrey Philip Schwartz, and Norma Silver. If there are any others that those with us this Shabbat are thinking of, and we have not yet shared their name, please feel free to add it at this time. We take into our hearts all names mentioned online, those that you're thinking of as well, as we rise as one community and support solidarity, trust, hope, faith with each other, and recite the words of Kaddish Tom, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'almad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam v'lomei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen.
Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen.
You may be seated. Shkoach to all of you for coming and making the Shabbat so special, so meaningful. Shkoach to Jordan, our stream team person for the night, who's brought our service online, to you on Facebook and you on YouTube, and to all of the leaders, the professionals, and volunteers that make our congregation so special. And I'd like to also say a big shkoach to someone who has really stepped up in extraordinary ways the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm talking about you and this really heartfelt, sincere, astonishing way that in just a few months you have been able to serve our congregation with so much heart, with so much love. You are a blessing, Janet. We are so blessed to have you. Shkoch.
Thank you.
Shkoch. And with that, we want to let everyone know what's happening around Temple. We have a lot happening. We are multi-access. We're online. We're in person. And we're welcoming our immediate past president, Jim Stegman, to share some announcements with us.
Shabbat Shalom. Okay, we've got a lot going on. Thank you for joining us this evening, especially those who have joined us in person. We currently offer Shabbat services in person by reservation on Facebook Live and YouTube. Complete program and service information can be found in our weekly email, along with instructions for how to register to attend in person. On Friday, October 22nd, our service will be at 6 p.m. and on Saturday, October 23rd, our service will be at 11 a.m. Join Jill Gutmann for her monthly discussion of Jewish medical ethics on Tuesday, October 19th at noon. Please RSVP to the office to attend. Join our adult education series with Rabbi Gutmann titled The First Rabbis. Learn about the world of Hazal, the first rabbis, a time of challenge and upheaval that produced the Judaism we know and love today. There are still 2 parts left of this 3-part series on Wednesday, October 20th and 27th at 6:30 p.m. RSVP by filling out the in-person form in the weekly email or call the temple office. Get ready for our first TKA Schmooze, an adult social experience on Saturday, October 23rd from 7 to 9 p.m. We will meet at All-Star Lanes in Walled Lake for a night that includes bowling, shoes, dinner, drinks, and fun. The cost is $30 per person, and you do not need to be a temple member to attend, though you must be 21. Please RSVP by October 20th to Daniel. We continue. Join us as we observe the yahrzeit of our founding Rabbi Ernst Conrad of blessed memory on Friday, November 5th at 6 p.m. for Shabbat. Calling all teens in grades 8 through 12, join us on Saturday, November 6th from 4:30 to 8 p.m. when we will meet at the escape room in Novi. The cost is $30 per person and includes the escape room, dinner and ice cream at Cold Stone Creamery. Test your skills and trust your friends to see if you can escape. Respond by November 3rd to Daniel. Do you enjoy stargazing? Come to Astronomy Havdalah at TKA on Saturday, November 6th. We will have a short Havdalah at 6:30. Then at 7 p.m., we will have a space discussion with our meteorologist and member Paul Gross and use telescopes to gaze into our solar system. Snacks and drinks will be served. For more information, contact the temple office. We will be having our annual TKA BI Combined Veterans Day Shabbat on Saturday, November 13th. Please share with us the names of your family members who are serving or have served our country so that we may honor them. You can email the names to the office. We are happy and pleased that you have joined us tonight. We welcome your interest, questions, and contributions to our little temple with a big voice. We are Temple Kolami, the voice of my people. Shabbat Shalom.
One small detail correction here. We made the decision today and didn't get it into the announcements in time, but in fact, on November 5th, Rabbi Ernst Conrad Shabbat will be occurring at 7 p.m., not 6 p.m. So please come at 7 on the 5th of November to celebrate with us. And I'd like to welcome the Farbers, Sue and Jean, to help us with our Kiddush and Motzi. We turn to page 5 in our prayer book as we prepare for the blessing over wine. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah b'hanu, v'shabbat kadsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit. Ki hu yom tefila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Ki banu bacharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat
Let's rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
B'teavon, bon appetit. Shkoach to you, Jean. Shkoach too. Sweet Shabbat, a healthy, a blessed Shabbat. You may be seated. We've got yet one more Abraham moment here as we all acknowledge that journey that we are each on, and we take our path to be a blessing. Lech Ilach, page 341.
Place you do not know. Lech ilach. On your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lech ilach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lech ilach, to a place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, lech ilach.
Shabbat Shalom.